Why does Screwtape believe that God isn't multitasking, but he's doing the same thing all the time? Welcome to Turn the Page and yet another great quote by C.S. Lewis in the Screwtape Letters. Let's get right to it. Now, he could say to them one by one, not "Who are you?" but "So, it was you all the time." On the day that we die, our eyes will be opened. That's what happened to Adam and Eve in the garden, and that's what will happen to each of us on the day we pass from time into eternity. We will see the cross for what it has always been. C.S. Lewis captures the moment of ultimate recognition when the veil drops and we finally see what was always there. It's not that God's crucified reality changes when we die. It's that our perception of the cross finally catches up to the reality of the crucified life of God. Now, Adam and Eve's eyes were opened after eating the fruit. And in death, normally one's eyes are closed. But in this special fall into sin, Adam and Eve were narrating the real fall into sin on Good Friday. Now, from the cross, nobody's eyes were closed, but they're opened to the image of who God is. Screwtape writes about a lost soul to heaven, lost to heaven, finally seeing the Triune God and recognizing them one by one as having been present in everything that ever happened in his life. His eyes are opened as every moment of his life is seen as having been saturated with the cruciform presence of his Lord and Savior, especially when he couldn't see anything of God. Your constant companion in life has been a crucified God who created you in his own image. Cruciform is the image that describes your life and everything that you so detest and so enjoy about the universe. You have never been alone, not for a microsecond. The God who walks with you doesn't show up only for the religious moments, the prayers and the church services. He's there in the waiting room, in that horrible late-night phone call, in the bankruptcy notices, in the cancer diagnosis, not as a distant observer who's taking notes, but as the crucified one who is experiencing it along with you because you exist inside of his crucified universe. So, it was you and me hanging on a tree together all along. In loneliness or financial ruin, serious family problems, the loss of a limb, it doesn't matter what it is. You were participating in the God life, the God who created you in his crucifixion image. Now, this isn't cheap comfort like God has a plan or everything happens for a reason or any of the other religious platitudes that we paste over our wounds. It's the radical claim that your worst days weren't detours from the spiritual life. They were the spiritual life. When your children abandoned everything you've ever cherished, you were dying with Christ. When your body betrayed you in ill health, you were being broken with Christ. Not because God is sadistic, but because the cruciform pattern is the shape of reality itself. And there's no escaping it. There's only recognizing it or failing to recognize it. And then you just become disgusted with God or you're done with him entirely. Whether it's awards, success, happiness, fulfillment, it doesn't matter what it was. It's all the same cross to God. Good Friday was a victory, after all. Your victories, they're not more spiritual than your defeats. The promotion isn't holier than the layoff, and the healthy years aren't closer to God than the sick ones. One by one, you will be able to say to all of these events, not, "Why did you happen to me?" or "Why did you ruin my life?" but, "So, it was the cross of Christ all along." Now imagine that moment of recognition. Every event that seemed random, every tragedy that seemed meaningless, or every joy that seemed disconnected from anything divine, all of it suddenly recognized as the same thing. Christ making himself known in the only way God ever does. Through death and resurrection, through losing and finding, through crucifixion and glorification, all at once, all the time. God the Father and God the Son and God the Spirit of their union are preoccupied with one thing. The Triune God is a one-trick pony. This should be either deeply comforting or deeply disturbing, depending on whether you've gotten the trick or not. God isn't multitasking. He's not juggling your salvation with cosmic governance and natural laws and unanswered prayers. He's doing one thing, the thing that defines him so completely that it's not even accurate to say it's something he's doing. It's who he is. And it's not really a trick. He defines himself in a way that defies all reason and logic and is completely upside down according to our way of thinking about God or the concept of sovereignty or almighty or omniscient. God's throne is an ascension to a cross, and his crown is made of thorns. Every advertisement for Christianity that leans on power and victory and success and emphasizes triumph in some way is selling a product that doesn't exist. The real God, the one who actually shows up in history, defines power as self-sacrificing, and he defines victory as defeat, and he defines sovereignty as yielding. This isn't a moral lesson about humility, it's ontology. Ontology is the study of what things fundamentally are at the deepest level, their basic nature or essence. It's the difference between saying God acts loving versus the ontology of God is love. Ontology asks, is this just something God does, or is this who God actually is at his core? The cross is ontology. Every person of the Godhead doesn't just participate in this event, but they celebrate it as the moment that most unambiguously reveals who they are. The Trinity isn't embarrassed by the cross. They're not apologizing for it or explaining it away or treating it as an unfortunate necessity. They're throwing a party around it. It's their self-portrait, their signature, their family crest. So, it was you, God, manifesting in me the gloriously crucified life that you manifest in your Son, Jesus Christ, in whom you are well pleased. And so when our eyes are finally opened, whether at death or in those rare moments of clarity that puncture through ordinary time, we'll recognize what was always true. Every moment of our lives, glorious or tragic, successful or failed, was our participation in divine sonship by the grace that resides in God. I participate in the sonship that properly belongs to Christ, and I therefore receive from you, my God, the same blessing. Welcome, my Son, in whom I am well pleased. God is saying to you and to me all day long, yes, it has been you. It has been the cross all the time. Well, we will keep going with another great quote from Screwtape on the next Turn the Page.